Is there a right way to love? An art of loving? Let us look at Erich Fromm's ramblings on that topic. The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm was published in 1956 and discusses loving as a practice that has to be mastered with cumulative effort. To love is not some falling in or enchanted by, but an activity born out of maturity. The ability to love depends on one's capacity to emerge from narcissism. It depends on our capacity to grow, to develop a productive orientation in our relationship toward the world and ourselves. Love is, for Fromm, the fundamental quest of a fulfilled life. This thought emerges from his understanding that anxiety of and discontent for past, present, and future results from our separateness from the world and its other beings. To overcome this condition, we strive for oneness or union with others. We try to redeem ourselves through finding salvation in love. But according to Fromm, the problem is that we have a misconception of what it means to truly love. Fromm identifies the issue in the growing narcissism in our society on one side and the commercialization of quick and easy love on the other. We cannot love others if we do not love ourselves. Narcissism might seem like an excessive self-love, but it is actually an overcompensation for the lack of love we have for ourselves. Narcissism is hence a neurotic manifestation of angst and hate for ourselves. This aspect is potentiated by our consumer society that feeds on narcissism. Products and lifestyles are promoted that accommodate and foster narcissism. Instant gratification and comfort in one's human condition are gifted to the ones who believe in the illusions of the market. Our interest in love becomes therefore a quest for being gratified, being loved ourselves without giving, only taking. If you love without calling forth love, that is, if your love as such does not produce love, if by means of an expression of life as loving person you do not make yourself a loved person, then your love is impotent, a misfortune. What is the remedy then? Fromm proposes a more idealist or traditional understanding of love, less self-centered, less purely grounded on emotion, but more on principle. He names 4 principles to consider how to love and eventually love proper. These principles are discipline, concentration, patience, and supreme concern. Discipline enables us to overcome the wanderings of our ever-changing feelings and allows us to commit ourselves to a relationship. Concentration helps us to ignore the unimportant and distracting. Patience teaches us to wait and await progress in a wider scope, also protecting our relationships from impulsive and destructive behavior. At last, Fromm names supreme concern as a necessary condition, not to be mistaken with supreme need for control. Supreme concern empowers us not to see our relationships as useful human interactions, but as exalted sources of happiness that need care and protection. These principles may seem today antiquated in the eyes of today's expectations of the non-bindingness of human relationships, especially fueled by our golden age of dating apps. Apps such as Tinder are conceptual technologies that have managed to decouple the essence of loving and condense it into a quantifiable conquest. Tinder offers their users something like love, with almost no effort involved. Before we actually meet someone, we do not have even to look the person into the eye. We do not need to talk verbally, we do not need to commit, and we have unlimited choice. We set up a profile that does the talking for us, and we do the swiping and matching. We might have a chat, but in the least cases bother to even meet the person because our experience of condensated love was already lived in the moment of conquest, when we matched, feeding the narcissistic behemoth inside of us. For Fromm, these would be sad times indeed, even considering that those apps do bring a lot of joy to people who have more trouble with finding partners. For him, however, love is something truly sublime and everything else than arbitrary. It is profoundly irrational and rooted in faith in something greater. For Fromm, to love somebody is not just a strong feeling, it is a decision. It is a judgment. It is a promise. If love were only a feeling, there would be no basis for the promise to love each other forever. A feeling comes and it may go. How can I judge that it will stay forever when my act does not involve judgment and decision?